everyone. I hope you all are doing fine. Welcome back to another session. This is chapter 8, grade 6 CBSE, where we'll talk and finish this chapter, Vital Villages, Thriving Towns. So in case you guys remember, we started our discussion with all these topics, iron tools, other steps taken to increase agricultural production, who lived in the villages, finding out more about the city life, how do we get more evidence of what kind of people lived there, what was their lifestyle. So I hope you remember me talking of earthen pots that archaeologists have found there. And apart from earthen pots, there were rig wells. In case you visited, please watch the replay. It's going to be wonderful because we've covered map questions also. More about the coins, cities that had many functions. Especially, I talked of Mathura. I gave you the importance of Mathura, and I also talked of why is it so important for Kushan Empire. Kushans, they were the set of rulers who ruled the subcontinent with part of Afghanistan and Pakistan. Crafts and craftsperson is the topic that we reached. So I told you that archaeologists back then, they found beautiful evidence of pottery that was just found in the northern part of the subcontinent. That is northern black polished ware. So this is a special type of pottery which was found just in the northern part of the subcontinent. That gives us the evidence that we've got talented craftsmen. Apart from this, we've also found the evidence of cloth being manufactured around this time. And especially, the cloth was manufactured around two basic areas where women all worked. The first part is in Varanasi, where that shows the evidence of cloth in huge quantity. It's a place in Uttar Pradesh. And the second place is Madurai, where there might have been some kind of mechanism where people started to manufacture cloth. So these were the important centers. Varanasi in the north, Madurai in the south. That gives us the idea of cloth being manufactured. Now there are other important things that I want you guys to know. There's an important term that's called Shrenis. Now, Shrenis exactly comes from the word association. So, Shrenis were the association in the ancient time of traders. We had bunch of traders here, like a group. Merchants, like you have groups in your classrooms. This is group that's going to, bunk the class. This is going to be a group that's going to be that's very studious and who talks about the other groups, does not allow members from the opposition enter the group. So similarly, we've got different groups. May it be traders, may it be merchants, they had their own associations. That's called Shrenis. These Shrenis were basically a group of craftsperson. What they did, it was a group. So somebody who entered this group wanted to get trained. So first of all, you'll get information about the raw material. Then you'll get training of how to use that raw material, right? And after that, they used to give the finished product. So it was all a step-by-step process where the craftsmen, they used to train anybody who used to join their group. So merchants had these Shrenis that was related to the trade. Craftsmen had trained, this Shrenis or association related to training new people and make sure they get quality members in their group. And apart from that, we also see that there is Shrenis, group of people who worked as banks. It could be group of men, it could be group of women. So some rich men and women, they used to come and deposit money with these Shrenis, the group, the association, the organization. And then after some time, these banks or these Shrenis who further used to invest the deposited money, they used to give the money back. So these Shrenis of bankers who acted as bankers, they used to get some money in the form of deposit, which they used to invest, and then whatever interest they used to earn, they used to give it back. They used to return the money. So sometimes this interest was used for some religious purpose. Maybe they basically might be using it to build monasteries back then. We've not started with the Bhakti movement, but you see a lot of monasteries built around that time related to Buddha and his followers. All right. So that is more about Shrenis, group of people, traders, merchants, artisans, or maybe the bankers. Now I am going to give you a deeper insight to this place, Arikamedu. Can you see this? This is a port town. It flourished around 2200 to 1900 years ago. It's a coastal location. So a lot of ships who used to travel through Bay of Bengal, through most of the eastern nations of Asia, the eastern countries of Asia, they used to take a halt here, or maybe countries of Mediterranean Sea. If anybody is coming from Mediterranean Sea, this was the most important center. So the ships used to unload themselves. So we found evidence of things that did not really belong to India, but they've been introduced to the Indian subcontinent by the entry of Romans. So what all did we manage to see here? Here we find from the Mediterranean, that's a region it's basically between Africa and Europe, right? So it's that area between Africa and Europe, very near to Red Sea. If this is Africa and if this is Europe, so you have here, right? So there's this country and this country, they're just sharing their border to some extent with just a small gap. So this is Mediterranean Sea. So from the Mediterranean regions, we find a special type of, because many warehouses have been found here. So from Mediterranean region, we find a special type of vessel that contained liquid, some sort of wine, maybe oil, and that had handles on each side, right? And apart from this, these are special jars, tall jars that we call it as amphorae. We found evidence of this. The second thing that we found here is a special type of pottery, a very special type of pot. This pot, it is called stamped red glazed pottery, very shiny, shimmery, in which liquid form of clay is used, and it is named as Aretine ware because Aretine is the name of a place. It's in Italy. That is why we come to know that this special kind of pottery that we find here is not something that people of India used to make, because we use wet clay and put it in a mold, a structure, and that is how we used to get this pot. Apart from that, we've got many glassware, many utensils of Roman origin. A lot of lamps, they've been found of Roman origin, right, which we don't find in India. So glass, which you call it the glassware, we find it here at Arikamedu. Then a lot of Roman lamps, we also find those lamps. We also find a lot of gems. How do we come to know about gems? Because there are a lot of warehouses that we observe here associated with this particular business. Massive brick structures that might have been used as warehouses have been found here at Arikamedu. So in case you guys are interested, what is a warehouse? Warehouse basically means it is a location where a lot of people come together for some commercial purpose. There's a large building and you infuse raw material. You give that raw material to the people living, working here at the warehouse. And that raw material or maybe some manufactured stuff is supplied to the warehouse, which is like a storehouse. and then it's used or maybe distributed to various parts. So we found huge structures of brick that acted as warehouses that contained a lot of material that had been unloaded by the ships which traveled from distant locations. And there's a very special thing about terracotta. I'll tell you what is there so special about it. The special quality of terracotta is we've got dyeing vats here. Now what is this dyeing vat? You dye the cloth. Originally, if you know, we used indigo to dye the cloth, and then later on many synthetic colors came up. Now synthetically produced colors are what we've been using. So what is this dyeing vats that we found at terracotta, which gives us evidence that there was a special kind of dyeing that was done. So this is a dyeing process that is done in which you change the color of a cloth. It is used to change color of cloth. So what is this takes place in this bucket, or what you call it, vat. That is special about it. Right? So you use this special method to dye the clothes. And also there is evidence of special type of stones, special type of glasses, which talks a lot about the history. Apart from amphorae, apart from eretine ware, I am sorry, it's ware, not war, we find evidence of a lot of other stuff here, right? So that's all for today's session. In case you guys like the session, like reading about Roman origin stuff, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next session. Until then, please take care and stay healthy. Thank you.